Hello, welcome to the Rio Gaming Nexus YouTube channel. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy the video, and thanks for watching.
Marvel Zombies Part 6: The Watcher's Gaze. The journey to the Sol system was heavy with ghosts, you know. Every flicker of a console light and every creak of the ship's hull felt like it was echoing with memories. Drax's booming laugh that could light up the darkest days, Gamora's sharp wit that always kept them on their toes, and Groot's gentle rustling that brought a sense of calm. Peter flew with a focused silence, the familiar constellations of his home system offering a cold comfort, like an old friend who didn't quite know how to help. Rocket was deep in his element, tinkering obsessively with the ship's primary comms array, muttering to himself about amplifying signals and bouncing frequencies off derelict satellites. It was their way of coping, right? One stared into the past, haunted by what was lost, while the other buried himself in the mechanics of an impossible future, trying to build something out of the chaos. As they passed the frozen plains of Jupiter, a grim reality set in. The system was dark, not just quiet but unnervingly lifeless. It was like a ghost town out there. No commercial freighters on the trade routes, no frantic transmissions from panicked Martian colonies, and absolutely no chatter from Earth. The silence wrapped around them like a shroud, mirroring the emptiness that lingered in their own ship, making it feel like they were the last ones left in the universe. "They've been here," Rocket stated flatly, pointing a claw at the main screen, which showed a debris field where a Nova Corps patrol station should have been, or a warning got through, and everyone who could run did. The weight of his words hung in the air, heavy and oppressive. Peter's jaw tightened at the thought. He couldn't help but think of his grandfather, a fleeting image of a kind old man on a hospital bed flashing through his mind. He was long gone now, of course, but the thought of that world, his world, falling to the hunger was a fresh agony that clawed at his insides. "Let's just get to the moon," he said, trying to shake off the feeling of dread. The moon loomed ahead, a pockmarked, silent giant hanging in the void like a skull. Peter brought the Venator into a low, sweeping orbit over the Sea of Tranquility, the site of humanity's first tentative steps into the cosmos. He remembered the stories, those black and white images of men in bulky suits bouncing around in low gravity. Like kids playing in a backyard, it felt like a story from another universe now, a time when hope felt tangible and dreams seemed within reach. "All right, big head peeping Tom, where are you?" Peter muttered, his eyes scanning the gray surface for any sign of life. "Area 51? Secret moon base? Blue area of the moon?" He chuckled to himself, trying to lighten the mood, but the laughter felt hollow. "Try all of them," Rocket replied, flipping a series of switches. A low hum filled the cockpit as he channeled all the ship's non-essential power into the comms dish. "I'm piggybacking on the old Apollo broadcast frequencies and blasting our message on a tight beam aimed at every known anomaly on this rock. If he's here, he'll hear it, or feel it, or whatever a giant bald guy in a toga does." Rocket's humor was a small comfort in the face of the overwhelming silence. He keyed the transmitter, his voice steady but small against the vastness of space. "This is Peter Quill of the... well, formerly of the Guardians of the Galaxy," he began, feeling the weight of the cosmos pressing down on him. "We are survivors of the Noah incident. We have a message of vital importance for the being known as the Watcher." The words felt monumental, like they were standing on the edge of something profound. He paused, glancing at Rocket, who gave a sharp nod of encouragement, his eyes bright with determination. They were in this together, no matter how bleak things looked. "A horde of cosmic undead, led by a zombified Galactus, has breached reality. They are headed for the World Forge. They consumed our galaxy, and they will consume all of creation if they are not stopped." Peter's voice grew more urgent, the reality of their situation sinking in. "We can't follow them, but we have their dimensional trajectory. We need help. We are sending the data packet now, please. Is anyone out there?" His heart raced as the message looped, broadcasting out over the silent gray dust. They waited. Minutes stretched into an hour, the silence becoming almost unbearable. The only response was the cold crackle of cosmic radiation, a harsh reminder of their isolation. Despair, a familiar and cloying companion, began to creep back into the cockpit, wrapping around them like a suffocating blanket. It was a stupid idea, Peter finally said, slumping in his chair, feeling defeated. He's just a story, a myth. The weight of those words felt like a lead weight in his chest. He's real, Rocket insisted, though his voice lacked the earlier conviction. He has to be. They both needed to believe that, didn't they? As the Benatar completed another slow orbit, a shadow fell over them. It wasn't the natural darkness of space, but a sudden, absolute blackness that blotted out the stars, sending a shiver down Peter's spine. Alarms blared as the ship's sensors went haywire, the sound piercing through the silence like a scream. What is that? Rocket yelled, his fur standing on end, eyes wide with alarm. Peter looked up through the cockpit canopy, and his breath caught in his chest. A figure stood before them on the lunar surface, a being of such impossible scale that he dwarfed the craters and mountains around him. He wore a simple blue garment, and his large, bald head was tilted as if in contemplation. His eyes, white and luminous, weren't looking at the Benatar. They were looking through it, through them, through time and space itself, as if he could see every moment of their lives laid bare. He had not come to them. He had simply become present. The Watcher did not speak, but a voice filled their minds, ancient and vast, a voice that sounded like collapsing stars and the birth of nebulae, echoing with the weight of countless lifetimes. I have seen you, Peter Quill. I have seen your loss, and I have seen what is coming. The words reverberated through Peter's very being, stirring something deep within him. The ship's alarms fell silent, and the universe seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting for something monumental to unfold. Hope, terrifying and fragile, dared to flicker in the dark, a small flame against the overwhelming void. You are not the heroes the universe needs, not alone, but you may be the messengers they require. The Watcher's presence was a beacon, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there was still a glimmer of hope. In that moment, Peter felt a surge of determination. They might not be the heroes the universe expected, but they were still here, ready to fight for what was right. Together, they could be the messengers of a new dawn, a new chance for survival. The weight of their mission pressed down on him, but he knew they had to keep going, for themselves and for everyone who had fallen.